Hello, I am Goose. And as a kid, I was never really into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. None of the words in the title really ever jumped out at me. Teenagers were never that interesting to me as a kid. Mutants just made me think of X-Men, which I barely knew anything about when I was a child. I preferred pirates over ninjas, and come on, turtles? Be real. To make a long story short, it was just not my thing as a kid. So when I say that seeing TMNT Mutant Mayhem on a whim made me feel like a lifelong fan of the franchise during and after watching it, you know that they must have injected some sort of magic into it, because there is no way any other movie could make me care about the Turtles. Definitely not the Michael Bay movies. I mean, just look at them. Ugh. The last time a movie made me want to do a video about it was the Bob's Burgers movie, so yeah, my standards are pretty high. But man, Mutant Mayhem really knocked it out of the park and turned out to be one of the prettiest and funniest movies I've seen this year so far. Okay. I should tell you why I like this movie so much, so let's just get into it. For starters, this movie is extremely friendly to people that know nothing of the Turtles, like me. The movie itself is essentially an origin story for the characters, and introduces each turtle rather naturally, no effort required. As for the rest of the plot, it seems pretty standard for a Nickelodeon kids movie. A group of teenagers want to be popular, so they start doing some good deeds. Then all of a sudden they get wrapped up in a mutant gang's plan to just eradicate all humans on Earth. And then it devolves into a mutant-on-mutant war. So, yeah, I'd say pretty standard. Okay, in all honesty, when I look at it that way, it goes pretty crazy pretty quick, but it still doesn't feel that hectic. My only complaint about pacing is that it's a tiny bit too fast in some places, but aside from that, it's pretty good. Next, let's talk about the voice cast, and can I just say that the people they got to voice all of these characters is a stacked list? Jackie Chan, Seth Rogen, John Cena, Post Malone, Ice Cube, Giancarlo Esposito, albeit just for a few minutes at the start, Hannibal Buress, Maya Rudolph, and my man Paul Rudd? As for the Turtles, they're all voiced by proper teenagers. The only one of them I recognize is Nicholas Cantu, but that's because I'm a huge nerd loser dork. I think casting all of the teenage turtles as actual teenagers really benefited the movie overall, because the four brothers all talk and act like teenagers, even going so far as to say soon-to-be dated things like Riz, Sus, references to current things like Avengers Endgame and BTS. It felt a lot less scripted than it probably was. Also, the fact that there was no, third act misunderstanding amongst the Turtles was very respectable. It would have been so easy for them to do something where the Turtles get into a big fight or something, I don't know who should be the leader, and then they split until the final battle or some BS, but no, they actually feel like proper siblings, sticking together no matter what. Disclaimer, I know that's not the case for all siblings, but it especially resonated with me because me and my siblings are super close. And there happens to be four of us. The mutant rogues gallery that ends up allying with the Ninja Turtles are actually really cool. Bebop, Mondo Gecko, and Leatherhead are my favorites of the troupe, but if I had to pick a favorite character in the movie, it would be the one who really made the plot feel as powerful and dire as it did, and that character is Superfly. He steals the show in almost any scene he has with a speaking role. His design is appealing, despite being kinda gross. Ice Cube does really well voicing the character, and he curses a surprising amount for a kid's movie. Maybe it's becoming more normalized, but I've been hearing a lot more hell, pissed, and damn in kids' movies. Not complaining, I just thought it was funny that Ice Cube was allowed to curse whenever he wanted during recording. Also, his transformation into Super Duper Fly, I guess is what he's called, looks like something straight out of Psychonauts, and I absolutely love that. I think my favorite moment overall was the montage in the middle where the Turtles are all beating up Superfly cronies. Such a well-choreographed scene, and I was enthralled by the whole sequence. It was really amazing. But you and I both know that the biggest draw for this movie wasn't the plot, the voice actors, or even Superfly. People wanted to see this movie because of the visuals, and oh my lord, it was worth it tenfold. I would best describe Mutant Mayhem as just being animated with the concept sketches and nothing else. It's very rare to see a movie this weird looking hit the big screen. All of the characters are little freaks, aside from maybe the main turtles. I think it's clever that the only designs in the movie that aren't horribly misshapen or just straight up ugly are the mutants. The turtles especially. Oh, also April's design was good. They definitely found a middle ground between the rest of the gross human designs and an appealing design that fit with all the other freaks in this movie. Aside from the character designs, everything in the film is just so messy and unrefined, as if they got the most crazed storyboard artist to stage everything, the most crazed modeler to make the models of the characters, and up the ladder until we got to the most warped and ridiculous product possible out of this movie. And I mean all of that in the best way possible, BT dubs. The extremely messy way this movie presents its characters, scenery, and effects really lend itself to the crazed and messy world, where mutants run rampant in the streets. I hate to bring up Spider-Verse every time a cool-looking movie comes out. Okay, I don't hate to bring up Spider-Verse, but look at this movie! TMNT was clearly inspired by Spider-Verse's stylistic overkill to not be held back by what the average animated movie looks like, as to become the best movie it could possibly be. Not saying it ripped off Spider-Verse, I'm just saying, you know, I like movies that look good. If I had to think of some negatives, I think, for one, if you have 4 teenagers, mutant or otherwise, with phones and tablets and all that, how would you possibly stop them from posting something online about where they're at, what they're doing, or even like a picture with them in frame? I feel like people seeing that online would freak out, but I'm not one to question the logic of a movie like TMNT Mutant Mayhem. That question just kind of popped into my head when I saw them in the movie, like, on tablets and phones and stuff. Another thing, which is more of a complaint of all movie theaters, was the usage of motion blur to ruin any panning shot. I love when that happens. Please use motion blur to ruin more panning shots, I'm begging you. I really don't want to see any of the beautiful graphics crafted for this movie. But I think that's the long and short of what I got to say about Mutant Mayhem. This movie was really something else. Visuals take the cake, obviously, but I think everything else in the movie, like designs, plot, soundtrack, character dynamics, can all stand on solid ground by themselves. It's pretty hard to find a weak point in this movie, it's just really solid overall. And after seeing the end credits scene, I can't wait to see what they do with the sequel. My hope is that they introduce Metalhead somehow. He was the only TMNT character I knew of aside the main turtles before I watched this movie, and I was kind of hoping to see him. I just think he has a dope design. He's like a robot. I like big clunky robots, not like the android kind. In any case, I'm getting carried away. The video's over now. Subscribe or something. Hey, before I go, I just wanted to talk about the social medias I think you should follow. They're really cool. I think his name is Amigoose or something. He's got a TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, and a Newgrounds in the description. And he's also got a Discord server, the link for which will be in the same place. Oh, and this fan art you see on the screen, your stuff could be there too. If you want to see your art in this little gallery at the end of videos, make sure to tag me on the social medias I mentioned, or post it in the Discord server. In any case, my name is Goose. I thank you very much for watching. And let me do my Gilbert Gottfried impression for Krang if you use him in the next movie. Please! I'm begging you! My voice is so perfect for the role! And I know his voice would fit Krang so well. And you guys knew it too! He played Krang in the 2012 show! Please, I'm begging you! I won't mess it up, I swear! Just give me a chance! I think I may have gone too far there. Okay, that's all. Now get out of here.